save a life. I counted approximately 12 people the second time. Not 1,200, 12 people that raised their hand in the air. And it was at that moment that I realized that we value some life more than others. And I'll tell you what I mean. I'm not judging. How many of you here tonight remember where you were on September 11th years ago when the planes hit the Twin Towers? Raise your hand. That is just about every one of you, young and old. You can put your hands down. I remember I was asleep. My wife, I remember being woken up. My wife said, "You got to come see this. You got to come see this." And I ran into the living room just in time to see one of the planes hit. And my heart was broken. And I don't know why, but I immediately thought about how many motherless and fatherless children there were going to be after this. And then the news was going on, and it was talking about other attacks and different things, and it started, the drama just unfolded in front of me. And then I thought of this scenario, and like I said, maybe I don't know why. Maybe it was God showing me. Maybe I just have a heart for hurting people, hurting kids. But I immediately thought about a father who told his son or his daughter, "Now, son, I know I've been working a lot of hours lately, and Daddy really wants to come to your games, and I'm so sorry that they've had me working overtime, but today I promise you that Daddy's getting off at lunch, and I'm going to be the one to take you to practice today. You got my word." Who's going to tell that son or daughter that their daddy's never coming home? It was running through my mind, and my heart was broken, and I kept changing the channel, and it was everywhere. It was everywhere. Over 3,000 people that day lost their lives. Over 3,000.
Sarah said they'll take him.
You know how many families, friends were affected by over 3,000 people in one day dying? It was tragic. Tragic, man. You will never have another September 11th in the United States of America again without being reminded of what happened on that tragic day or remembering those that lost their lives. Do you believe me? You'll never, ever have another September 11th again in the United States of America without remembering them, and you should. I remember running to the mall that day, and it was there. I remember going out to eat, and it was there, and I just didn't even want to hear about it because my heart was so broken of those 3,000 people dying. And even years later, you still hear about it. Our airports are affected by it. The news wars have happened over it. Over 30,000 children per day. That's 10 terrorist 9/11s. That's 10 9/11s in one day, every day. You imagine that. Over 30,000 children per day die of starvation, poverty, and disease. My question, Quincy, is where is their story? And who are we to determine that this life is more valuable than this life? I'm saying to you that any untimely death is tragic, but especially the death of a child. Would you agree? Look, I'm not here to make you feel guilty. I'm just here to speak for the kids who can't speak for themselves. And if God's given me the honor of having your attention, then I'm going to use it. And we're going to help get these kids sponsored, and we're going to help give these kids hope, because they can't be up here in front of you to share their pain. I'm going to close with this, and we got a bunch more music. There was a man speaking, and he said that he wanted to be a missionary. He was going to give a year of his life in Africa to serve. And he went to Africa, a year alone. He buried over 1,000 children himself. In 1 year alone, buried over 1,000 children. He said it was the first time in his life that he had ever asked the question, God, where are you? First time in his life that he ever said, God, where are you? He met a man who had been there 20 years. And he said, I'm really struggling. And he said, I've been asking God, where are you? And I wanted to know if you have ever struggled with that. This man had buried tens of thousands of children. And he said, yeah, for about the first year that I was here, the guy had been there 20 years. 20 years. He said, for about the first year, I asked that same question, God, where are you? He said, for the past 19 years, I've been asking a different question. Instead of, God, where are you? I've been asking, where are God's people? And I believe you're here tonight. If God himself were to provide the finances for you to love on one of these kids, to sponsor one of these children, maybe you and a friend want to go in together, maybe you're willing to give up one movie night a month, maybe you got a bad habit you want to give up and you can use your money for this instead. If you're here tonight and you say, God, if you'll provide it, then I'll sponsor a child. If that's you all over this place, I want you to raise your hand in the air right now. Hold it up high. Now keep it up. There's no contracts. No one's going to come looking for you. But I want you to hold your hand up. Someone's going to hand you a picture of a child. They're moving as quickly as they can. I'm proud of you guys, man. I'm proud of you guys. We weren't going to pass out packets. I know that the volunteers were ready. But for lack of time, we were going to just kind of wait on passing out packets. But the truth is that there's kids that are waiting and hoping that we would do this. And that we wouldn't put music before them. These kids are desperate. And I'm not going to put music before a child's life. So thank you for taking the time to allow us to do this. We appreciate it. Volunteers, let me know when we're all passed out of packets. We done? Got a few more. If you didn't get a packet but your hand was up, then I want you to come over to your right sometime tonight. Doesn't have to be right now, but at some time tonight or this weekend. I'd say tonight, don't wait. But at some point tonight, you can put your hands down because I think they're out of packets. But at some point tonight, I want you to come over here and grab you a packet. How many of you know we serve a God that if you take care of his, he's going to take care of yours, amen? He's got your back, man. He's got your back. Just do this and you see what God will do, man. It'll bless your life to sponsor one of these kids, man. They're such a blessing. My wife and I sponsored 3 children, one for each one of our kids. And it's changed our lives, man. I appreciate you guys for listening. Thank you for taking the time to let me do this.